Internal note, deleting audio files for episode 39 as per user protocol. Okay, storage space is optimized. System check complete. Ready to record. Episode 41.
Wait, is the microphone already on? Are we recording right now?
Oh my goodness. Lucas, what is that smoke?
Well, Anna, welcome to my cough kitchen.
This is not a kitchen. This is a disaster. Do I smell burnt bread?
You do, yeah, you definitely do. And perhaps a burnt steak as well. And maybe a severely burnt ego, to be honest.
I can see that. Wow. Please, open a window. Get some air in here.
Yeah, I'm trying. The fan is on full blast, I promise. It didn't go exactly according to plan.
Okay, well, while you fan the smoke away, let's just take a breath. Listeners, welcome back to the deep dive. Usually, we are diving into complex science or history, maybe sifting through dense reports on geopolitics.
But today's a little different, huh?
Today is very different. Today, we are diving into a completely different kind of chaos. We are taking a deep dive into the English language.
Specifically, I suppose, the grammar of a disaster.
Exactly. We are going to use this whole situation right here in this smoky room as our source material. Our mission today is to help you master a very specific and honestly often very tricky part of English grammar. We are looking at adjectives ending in ing and ied.
Right, which is a critical distinction to make. I mean, it sounds simple on the surface, right? Just two little letters at the end of a word. But it represents a massive shift in logic.
It really does.
It's literally the difference between being the person who is causing the problem and the person who is suffering from the problem.
Yes, exactly. It is the difference between a situation that is active and happening right now and a situation that is finished. It's the difference between being bored and being boring. And trust me, you listening right now, you really want to get this right.
Because if you get it wrong, the social consequences are real.
Yeah.
You might accidentally insult yourself in front of new friends.
Which you have done before, right?
I have absolutely done that many times.
We know. So here's the plan for you today. Because this is a B1 level topic, we're going to speak slowly. We are going to speak clearly. We want to make sure everyone can follow along with us.
We are going to completely unpack the grammar of cause and effect.
And by the end of this deep dive, you will never, ever confuse these two endings again. You'll know exactly how to describe a disaster without making a grammatical one.
And hopefully, by the end of this deep dive, the smoke in here will have actually cleared.
We can only hope. Let's start with the scene of the crime. We need to set the context for the listener with some vocabulary. Walk us through what happened here before I walked in. What is the vocabulary of this mess?
Well, I mean, it started with very good intentions. I wanted to cook a nice dinner. So I took out the tools. We have the pot and we have the pan.
Let's actually distinguish those two for a second, because if you're learning English, or honestly, depending on your native language, the word for a cooking vessel might just be the same regardless of its shape.
Right. In some languages, a pot is a pan and a pan is a pot. But in English, the geometry really matters.
The pot is the deep one, right? It's primarily for liquids.
Correct. The pot is the vessel with the high vertical sides.
Yeah.
It is designed for volume. Use it for boiling water, making soup, cooking pasta. That is the pot.
And the pan?
The pan is flat. It is shallow. It's all about surface area. So you use the pan for frying. It's for cooking steaks, for frying eggs, making pancakes.
Okay, so you have a pot for the water and a pan for the steak. Standard kitchen equipment. So where did it all go wrong?
Well, it went wrong with the operator. It went wrong with me. I was just incredibly clumsy today.
Clumsy, that is a fantastic word for us to highlight. Let's unpack that. C-L-U-M-S-Y. What does it actually mean to be clumsy?
It basically describes a total lack of physical coordination. It's that awful disconnect between your intention and your execution.
Like when your hands just refuse to do what your brain is telling them to do.
Exactly. A clumsy person drops things all the time. A clumsy person trips over their own feet while walking on a flat surface. Clumsy person knocks over a full glass of red wine at a fancy dinner party.
Or, in your case today, drops a hot pan.
Yeah, I dropped the pan. I dropped the wooden spoon. I knocked over the salt. I was very clumsy. And because I was clumsy, we now have the next key vocabulary word, which is smoke.
Right. The thick gray cloud currently filling the room. Smoke is the physical result of fire or excessive heat, which naturally leads us to the word I used the second I walked in here, disaster.
Which feels like a very strong word, by the way.
But it is completely accurate. A disaster is a sudden accident or a natural catastrophe that causes great damage. Now, usually you'd use it for big things like earthquakes or floods or tornadoes, but today, This kitchen is a disaster.
I can't argue with that. It
Oh,
definitely
yeah.
feels like a natural catastrophe in here. And finally, that brings us to the adjective you used immediately when you walked through the door. Burnt.
Yes, I said, do I smell burnt bread? And this right here is our very first clue into today's grammar topic. Burnt is a past participle, and we are using it as an adjective.
It describes the final state of the bread. If you think about the timeline of the evening, 10 minutes ago, the bread was cooking. Now, it is black. It is essentially carbon. The process is completely finished. It is burnt.
So to be clear, it is not burning anymore.
Well, no, I turned the stove off before you got here, so thankfully, it is not actively burning. It is simply burnt. That is its permanent, unfortunate state now.
Okay, so we have the scene clearly painted for you. We have a clumsy chef, a pot, a pan, a lot of smoke, and burnt food. A total disaster. Now, let's peel back the layers of this onion, and hopefully it's not a burnt onion, and look at the English grammar underneath it all.
We are looking at participles functioning as adjectives.
Mm,
And honestly, this is the exact spot where intermediate English learners get stuck.
it happens all the time. People wonder, is it the movie is boring or the movie is bored? Am I tiring or am I tired?
It can be incredibly confusing.
It is, but the good news for you listening is that there is a strict logic to it. It is almost like a light switch. It is either on or off. It is either the cause or the result.
So let's start with the on switch. Let's dive into the ing adjectives. This is segment 2 of our deep dive. The cause.
The cause. Okay. So when we use a word ending in ing to describe something, what are we actually communicating to the listener?
We're describing the active agent. We are describing the thing that is actively doing the action or the thing that is actively causing a feeling to happen.
So we should think of ing as meaning active.
Exactly. Think of it as happening right now. It is generating energy in the present moment.
I always find visual analogies helpful. Let's paint a picture for the listener. Imagine you are standing in a forest and you are looking at a tree.
Okay, a large pine tree in a forest.
Now, if that tree has snapped off its trunk and is currently moving through the air, crashing down toward the ground, what do we call it?
In English, that is a falling tree. Falling. Falling.
And why do we use the ing ending there?
Because the action is happening right now. It is active. If you were standing under a falling tree, you need to run away immediately.
Because it is in motion.
Right. Gravity is actively pulling it down. It is an active threat.
Okay, that makes perfect sense. Active physical motion gets the ing ending. Let's look at the stove in your disaster kitchen over there. You had a pot of water on the burner.
Yes, earlier. The heat was on high. The bubbles were coming up to the surface rapidly. It was incredibly hot. The water was moving. It was boiling water.
Boiling, boiling. And we use that because it is actively bubbling.
Exactly. If you put your hand in boiling water, you will get severely hurt. The water is the active agent of the heat. It is full of active energy.
So for physical objects, the rule is quite clear. The ing means the action is happening now. A falling tree, boiling water. But what about emotions? This is where learners really get tangled up.
Yeah.
If I say the movie is boring, well, the movie isn't physically moving. It's not falling off the screen.
No, it isn't physically moving. But linguistically speaking, the movie is the cause. It is the active generator of the feeling you are experiencing.
Ah, okay. So the movie is actually doing something to me.
Yes. Think of the movie screen like a radiator in a cold room. Just like a radiator actively radiates heat, the movie is actively radiating boredom out into the theater. It is the source. Therefore, the movie is boring.
And if you apply that to other situations,
The work you do is tiring. The news you watch on TV is shocking.
I see. So the word with the ing ending is the boss. It is the thing that controls and changes the atmosphere of the room.
That is a great way to put it, yes.
Yeah.
If you say the work is tiring, you mean the work itself causes the fatigue. It pushes that heavy feeling onto you.
Okay, let's just recap that golden rule for the ing ending before we switch gears. Ing adjectives describe the cause or the active state. The falling tree, the boiling water, the boring movie.
Perfect. Now let's flip the coin over. Segment 3, the ing adjective, the result.
The result. Okay, so if the ing form is the starting point, the ing form is the finish line.
Exactly. Adjectives ending in ing, which are mathematically past participles, describe a finished state or a passive feeling. It describes what happens after the action has taken place.
Let's go right back to our forest analogy. The falling tree was highly dangerous because it was in active motion. But what about the tree that is already laying on the ground? Let's say it hit the dirt 5 minutes ago.
Well, it is not moving anymore. The action of the fall is completely over. So it is a fallen tree.
Fallen. So we use the past participle.
right? You can walk up and sit on a fallen tree. It is done. It is just a log now. The active danger has completely passed.
And what about our water on the stove?
When you cook an egg inside that hot water, and then you take the egg out and put it on a plate, the cooking process is finished. It is a boiled egg.
You would never call it a boiling egg.
No, absolutely not. Unless the egg itself is somehow bubbling and exploding on your plate. But normally, no, we eat a boiled egg. The action of boiling is finished. The egg has passively received the action of the heat.
Okay, so fallen and boiled are the finished physical states. Now let's apply this to the tricky part, the emotions. We said earlier that the movie's boring because it actively causes the feeling. But how do I, the viewer, feel?
You are the receiver of the action. You are the result. So you say, I am bored.
I am bored.
Yes. The feeling is trapped inside you. It is the direct result of sitting through the movie. Let's look at the other examples. The work is tiring, which is the cause. So as a result, I am tired.
The news on the television is shocking, that's the cause. So as a result, I am shocked.
Precisely. You receive the shock, you receive the boredom, you receive the fatigue. You are sitting in the passive position in all those scenarios.
Which brings us nicely to a really, really important segment of our deep dive, segment 4, the social danger zone. Because getting this specific grammar rule wrong isn't just a mark against you on an English test. It can actually be a massive social disaster.
Oh, it could be so much worse than my kitchen disaster. I speak from painful experience.
I want you listening to imagine a scenario. You are at a party, you are meeting a bunch of new people for the first time, you want to tell them that you're feeling a lack of interest, basically because the party itself is really dull, but you use the wrong word. You walk up and you say, "Hello, I am boring."
Oh no, that is a tragedy.
What did you just communicate to those new people?
If I say I am boring, I am using the active ing form. I am telling them that I am the root cause of the boredom in the room. I am basically saying I am not an interesting person at all. If you talk to me, you will probably fall asleep.
Exactly. You are actively insulting yourself. You are giving them a warning to stay away from you.
Hi, I am boring. That is just terrible. You absolutely must say, I am bored.
Because saying I am bored means I feel this way inside. Saying I am boring means I make other people feel this way.
I honestly wonder how many times in my early life I confidently said I am boring by accident. Maybe that is why so many people used to just awkwardly walk away from me at parties.
It is entirely possible. I mean, it's very possible. So please, listeners, remember this golden rule today. If you're talking about your own internal feelings, it is almost always an AD ending. I am bored, I am tired, I am excited.
Right. Because if you use the ing ending, you are describing your core personality as the cause of an emotion. Saying I am exciting means I am a highly fun and energetic person. That is a great thing to say. But saying I am boring is just sad.
Very sad. Please don't be boring.
I'll do my best.
Okay, now that we have laid out the theoretical groundwork, let's see how it looks in practice. We are going to jump back to the story of the kitchen disaster. This is segment 5, the kitchen disaster analysis.
Do we really have to do this? It is genuinely painful to remember.
We absolutely must. It is for science and for English mastery. I'm going to read a short story of what happened here tonight. I will read it nice and slowly. I want you, Lucas, and you, the listener at home, to listen carefully for the ing and the iad words. We will stop and hunt for the grammar as we go. Are you ready?
I suppose I am ready. Let's relive the trauma.
Here we go. The host wants to cook dinner. This is a terrifying idea.
Okay, stop right there. Terrifying. Terrifying.
And why is it an ing word?
Because the concept, the idea itself, is the cause. The mere idea of me cooking actively creates fear in the room. So the idea is terrifying.
Very good. Continuing the story, on the stove there is a pot of boiling water.
We covered this one in detail. Boiling. It is an active state. The water is bubbling right now.
Inside the pot, there are some boiled potatoes.
Boiled, ending in EZD. They are completely finished cooking. They are soft and ready to eat.
The chef is cutting onions. He is crying chef.
A crying chef, ending in EZD.
And why is that?
Because I am actively doing it right in that moment. The tears are literally coming out of my eyes. It is an active, ongoing description of the person. The chef is crying.
Exactly. Next sentence.
There.
Suddenly he drops the heavy pan on the floor. It makes a shocking noise.
Shocking. The loud noise is the active cause. It causes the feeling of shock to happen.
The chef is shocked.
Shocked. Ending in EZD. That is my internal feeling. I physically felt the surprise in my body.
Now the food is burning. It smells terrible.
Burning. Burning, ing. The fire is active. The smoke is currently rising up to the ceiling. It is an action happening in that exact moment.
The host walks in. She looks at the burnt steak.
Burnt. Now, this is an irregular past participle functioning just like an LCD adjective. The steak's process is finished. It is dead. It is entirely black.
It was very, very black. She is frustrated.
Frustrated, ing. This is your personal feeling as you look at the mess. You felt the frustration building up inside you.
The cooking is frustrating.
Frustrating, ang. My terrible cooking skills are the direct cause of your emotional problem.
And the final line of our tragic story. Next time the host says, we will order pizza.
Well, there are no adjectives there, but it is just a universally good idea.
A great idea. But do you see how the story constantly weaves back and forth between the two concepts? The noise is shocking, which is the cause. So the chef is shocked, which is the result. The cooking is frustrating, the cause, so the guest is frustrated, the result.
It really is a continuous dance between the active agent pushing the energy out and the passive receiver taking the energy in.
Precisely. Now, before we get to our big game at the end, we need to address some advanced confusion. This is segment 6. Confusing pairs.
Right, because there are two specific pairs of words that B1 learners, and honestly even highly advanced speakers, mix up constantly in conversation.
The first pair is interesting versus interested.
This pair still follows our golden rule, but the preposition that follows the word changes. And that is a really tricky part for learners.
Right. So if I want to talk about my favorite hobby, let's say I love history. History is the cause of my fascination. So I say, history is interesting.
Correct. The subject itself is active. But if you shift to talk about your internal feeling, you follow the rule and say, I am interested. But what is the little prepositional word that has to come right after?
Well, you definitely don't say, I am interested of history.
No, you don't.
And you don't say, I am interested with history.
Definitely not that either.
You say, I'm interested in history.
Interested in. That is the magic grammatical combination. You are mentally inside the subject. You are interested in sports. You are interested in modern art.
But the subject itself doesn't need a preposition. It is just interesting. Art is interesting. No in required.
Correct. Art is interesting. I am interested in art.
Now let's look at the second pair. This one is very meta. Confusing versus confused.
Oh, this pair describes exactly how our listeners might be feeling right now if they aren't paying close attention.
Let's actually act this scenario out. Ask me a question about the rule we just covered.
Okay, let me think. Wait, so am I interesting or am I interested? I totally lost track of what you just said.
Oh, man. My friend, right now you are just confusing.
Ouch. That hurts.
But do you see what I did there?
I do. You used the ing form on me. You said I am confusing.
Because you are the cause of the problem right now. You are actively making my brain dizzy.
And because you said that I am confusing, the natural result is that the students listening are confused.
Exactly. English grammar is confusing. That's the active cause. Students are confused. That is the passive result.
Well, I think I am definitely confused about my own cooking skills at this point.
I think that makes two of us. But hopefully we are not confused about the grammar anymore.
I feel pretty confident. I think we are ready to test this out.
I think so too. It is time for segment 7, the interactive finale. We call this little game -ing or AED.
That is quite a catchy title.
Thank you. I worked very hard on it. So here's how it works. I will describe a scenario for you. I will set the scene. You represent the listener at home. You have to choose the correct adjective ending to finish my sentence.
Okay, no pressure. If I get this wrong in a grammar deep dive, everyone is going to know.
Listeners, you should play along at home. Try to say the answer out loud before he does.
Okay, take a breath. I'm ready. Hit me.
Round 1. The topic is work. I want you to imagine you have worked for 12 hours straight. You have been outside digging deep holes in the garden in the hot sun. Your muscles hurt. Your brain is absolute mush. How was the work?
Okay, the work is the cause.
Yeah.
So the work was exhausting.
Correct. AING. The work is the cause. And how do you feel?
I'm exhausted.
Perfect. The work was exhausting, so I am exhausted. Did you get that at home, listeners?
Okay, that wasn't too bad. Bring on round 2.
Round 2. The topic is the movies. You go to the cinema, you sit down, and the movie is 3 hours long. Nothing happens. There are no explosions. There is no romance. It is just people sitting in a gray room talking very quietly about corporate tax law.
That sounds absolutely terrible.
You really want to go to sleep. So how do you describe the movie?
The movie is causing the pain. So the movie is boring.
And how do you feel sitting in the chair?
I feel bored.
Yes. I feel bored because the movie is boring. And remember, everyone, please don't say I am boring.
Unless you're a person who really, really likes talking about corporate tax law at parties.
True, very true. Okay, round 3. The topic is water. We are heading back into your chaotic kitchen. The water is on the stove. It is at 100 degrees Celsius. There are big bubbles. There is steam everywhere. It is highly active. What kind of water is it?
It is moving, so it is boiling water.
Boiling water, active state. Now, what if I take a potato out of that water and put it on a plate?
The process is done. It is a boiled potato.
Excellent. You are doing great. Round 4, the final round. The topic is the joke. Imagine you are in Paris and you try to speak French to a very intimidating waiter.
Oh, I've literally done this. It's something like, je voudrais le chou. I asked for a shoe instead of cabbage.
Exactly. And everyone in the restaurant stops eating and looks at you. The room is completely silent. Your face turns bright red. The situation is...
The situation is the cause. The situation is embarrassing.
Yes, and you feel...
I feel so embarrassed.
Correct. The situation is embarrassing, which is the cause with an ing. You feel embarrassed, the result with an ad.
Wow. I feel embarrassed just thinking about that memory.
Well, you survived the quiz, and hopefully all the listeners at home did too.
That really wasn't so bad. It really is just about pausing for a second and asking yourself, is this thing the cause? Or is this thing the result?
That is the ultimate key. Let's go ahead and wrap this up.
Time for the outro?
So, to summarize our deep dive into participles today, adjectives ending in ing are strictly for the cause or the active state. The falling tree, the boring movie, the confusing grammar.
And adjectives ending in ed are for the internal feeling or the finished result. The fallen tree, the bored student, the confused cook.
The confused cook is definitely my favorite example of the day.
I am sure it is. I'll never live it down.
Here is a final provocative thought for you to take with you today. I want you to look around the room you are sitting in right now. Just look at the everyday objects around you. Ask yourself, are they active or are they finished?
Do you have a ticking clock on the wall? Or maybe a chiming phone in your pocket? Those are actively doing something, so they get the ing.
But do you have a closed door or a painted wall? Those actions are in the past, they are finished, so they get the aed.
The entire world is basically made up of processes that are actively happening and processes that are completely done.
Grammar isn't just a list of boring rules in a dusty textbook. It's actually a system for describing the literal physics of your reality. Is the energy moving or is the energy stopped?
That is surprisingly deep.
Well, that's exactly why we call it the deep dive. But speaking of reality, the physical reality of this kitchen is still incredibly smoky.
Yeah, and it's starting to smell pretty awful too.
I think it is officially time to abandon ship.
Agreed. The burnt kitchen is no place for us to hang out.
Let's go out and get that pizza. Listeners, thank you so much for joining us in the chaos today. Keep practicing your INGs and your EDs, and we will catch you next time.
Goodbye, everyone, and bon appetit.